So, it's now Sunday morning and I'm doing this video because last night was just too late and I couldn't be bothered to do a video to talk about more utter shite from Newcastle United. More so Steve Bruce, because the man has come out again and had a dig at the fans, which I'll talk about in the video. But we were nothing last night. It was just empty feelings from everybody and just an empty game of football. This is the Toon Review. Hi everyone, I'm Paul. Welcome back to the Toon Review. First of all, a massive big thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. It's really starting to take off. I really do appreciate it. Fans from all over the country getting on board, thank you so much. It means the world to me. So if you do like this video, please smash the like button. It really helps me build the channel. Anyway, on to last night. And really, when you saw the team sheet, you knew immediately what the tactics were going to be. You knew immediately we were going for Bruce ball. We would get everybody behind the ball and see if we could soak it up. The first, 10, 15 minutes, we looked all right. You know, we had a few attacks. We came forward. But then, as we normally do after a good start, we slumped back into the Steve Bruce way. And really, watching the game, I just felt empty yesterday. I don't know about anybody else. I just felt empty, that there was nothing to cheer for. Man City scored on just after 15 minutes, I think. You know, Sterling getting round the back, had all the time in the world just to tee up Gundogan, and he slots it into the bottom corner. I did think that the floodgates were going to open, but luckily for us, they didn't. Now, I don't think that's because we did anything special, we kept them at bay or anything like that. I just think Man City, it was a training session from them from the off. The way they were knocking the ball around, you could tell they weren't in any hurry. You know, they've got another game against Everton on Monday, so they weren't going to go all out, you know, physical and all out strong and all out attack from the word go, because they have to keep some energy back for Monday. But we couldn't break them down. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't get the ball half the time. You know, and the possession stats says it all, especially in the second half. I think we had 12% possession in the second half, which is just disgusting, man. It's embarrassing. And yet again, you know, we just don't look like a side who gives a shit. Matty Longstaff, I was glad to see him in the starting lineup. I was really happy after being in the wilderness, but was it unfair to throw him straight in against a team like Manchester City? Probably so. But I think the kid did all right. He did all right for me. You can't expect miracles from Matty Longstaff when he's just come back after being left out in the cold for so long. He gets thrown in. So I like to think that Steve Bruce really just throws people to the wolves, doesn't he? Man City got a second goal. You know, again, Almiron pissing about with the ball. He loses it, and the cross comes in. Fernandes tries to block the cross. It falls nicely to Torres, who just had an empty net to score in, really. But you could tell Man City never got out of first gear. They didn't need to, because we were just so lackadaisical, so pathetic. We are a pathetic excuse of a football team at the moment. And you know, as mad as I was watching the game last night, I thought, you know what? It's just that empty feeling of nothing. When Man City scored, you just thought, fair enough. You know, that's just the way it is. That's the way this game's gone. We just crap. There's no desire. There's no passion. There's no excitement. It's the same thing time and time again. And the match itself was just a drab bore. And Man City did what they needed to do, get the 3 points, get out of there and look forward to the game on Monday against Everton. That's a bigger game for them. This one was just a stroll in the park, training session. Let's just get a couple of goals and we'll just pass the ball around for the rest of the game, use up the 90 minutes and get ourselves home. The weather was atrocious. They didn't want to do anything special, Man City, last night. And they haven't really been at the best all season, Man City, it's fair to say. But they didn't need to be last night. Really, just cruising along in first gear and think, right, that's it, game over. What I do want to talk about, though, is the manager, Steve Bruce. Now, everybody knows my feelings on Steve Bruce and the whole of the Newcastle United fan base, or 99.9% of the fan base. A few weeks ago, people were saying, well, he's a nice guy, he's all right, but he's a terrible manager. But now he's turning the fan base against him. How dare he come out and have a go at us for histrionics after losing to Brentford? What Steve Bruce needs to understand is he put one of the strongest teams out on Tuesday night against Brentford. They put their reserve team out and turned us over convincingly. There was nothing that we should not be furious about that game. And he comes out and blames the fans for histrionics again. Now, this is a man that is supposed to love this Newcastle United Football Club. He's a big fan, apparently. That is an absolute bullshit. He is not a Newcastle United fan. I've put out a couple of quotes that he said when he was Sunderland manager. That Newcastle United is not his dream job. Right? But we also go back and look at his comments about the fans at other clubs, including Sunderland. He mentions histrionics every time at every club he's at, because he blames everybody but himself, but mainly the fans. But you do not come out and blame, apparently, the club you love's supporters for getting histrionic about an absolute disgusting display. And again last night, rubbish. He comes out and says, we were much improved. No, we weren't. Where is this man saying this? Where is this man watching a football match to think Newcastle United are getting better? Because we're not. We have not improved under Steve Bruce. We will never improve under Steve Bruce. The man is in a delusional world. Absolutely deluded. Because if he thinks that he is taking the club forward, and then he has the gall to come out and say, my remit is to keep us in the Premier League. What an absolute load of bollocks. A few weeks ago, you were saying you were aiming for the top 10. So get off this stupid little road you're on, Steve Bruce, and get out the club. Because you're going backwards. You keep going backwards, and you are not taking our club any further forward. I was absolutely furious when I saw those quotes saying about histrionics and about how his remit is to keep us in the Premier League. Look at what the other managers have said about the club. The great managers, Sir Bobby, Keegan, Rafa, they've all just know how big this club is and how big it could be if it's in the right hands with the right manager. But no, Steve Bruce, well, I'm just keeping the club in the Premier League. You're not even going to do that with the form we are on now. We are heading down, and the teams below us will pick up points. You bet my word on that. They will pick up points. We are not clear of the bottom three. We are not clear of relegation, and we will not be in the next two games, because Liverpool will rip us a new one, and so will Leicester. Because the difference between Liverpool and Manchester City is Liverpool have so much pace in that front three, they will cripple us. They will just destroy us, and we all know what's coming. They won't sit back and defend against Newcastle. They'll think, right, we can do lots for our goal difference here, so let's go and do it. The manner of our football is just abysmal. It's terrible to watch, and it really saddened me last night. I'm watching the game, and I'm flicking through Twitter, and I'm seeing fans asking how the game's going because they're just not watching. This is Newcastle United, man. You just... I never thought I'd see the day, certainly growing up, when I would see supporters say, I'm not watching us. It's just, he's turning everybody against the club. He's turning fans against the club. Yes, we know the main problem is the owner. That is just not even in question, but we're not talking about that. We've said what we need to say on Mike Ashley, and that will never ever change. But now it's the manager and the stuff that he's coming out with. The absolute disrespect he has for the supporters is clear as day now. He doesn't have any respect for us. He doesn't listen to what the supporters are saying. He just thinks it's histrionics. It's just over the top. It's all pie in the sky. He just does not... He's in this bubble that he thinks just nothing can get to him. Because the supporters aren't in the stadium. And when the supporters aren't in the stadium, the man gets away with blue murder. And it's obvious. It's there for everybody to see. And it's just boring. It's just shit to watch now. The whole thing, it just stinks to high hell. Liverpool on Wednesday, my God. I mean, what they're going to do to us. You know, we know that they are wanting to win games because they are wanting to win the title again. They're not going to come in here and just pass it around. They're going to go for goals like they did at Palace. You know, 3-4-0 up, did they take the foot off the gas? Did the bollocks? They went out and scored more because they know they could have scored more and they know how important it is to score goals. And all those Liverpool players actually want to get on the score sheet. Every single one of them just wants to keep going and peppering because they know they can improve their goal tallies for the season. And they'll be rubbing their hands when they think, oh, it's Newcastle next, fantastic. Because they know how we're going to play. Klopp will be sitting there thinking, well, do we even need to watch reruns of Newcastle's games? We can watch the second game of the season, fifth game of the season. Nothing's changed. We know how they're going to approach the game. They'll be rubbing their hands. Absolutely rubbing their hands at this prospect of playing us on Wednesday. And, you know, we can do reviews on the game. We can sit and think, right, what should we do to cope with Liverpool? Why should we bother? We just not listen to. And Steve Bruce just does his own thing anyway. The man is a stubborn old goat. He's a dinosaur. He does not give a shit about anybody else's opinions apart from his own. And this lovely personality that Steve Bruce is really coming through now, isn't it? You know, sly little digs at the supporters of the club he manages. That is bang out of order and needs addressing. So for me, last night's game was just a ball fest. We knew straight away that City would pass the ball around and just keep the ball for basically the whole game, knock it about, training session for them because of a game on Monday. They were never going to go out 100%. But they didn't have to. That's the whole point. They didn't have to. And, you know, some of the players really need to look hard in the mirror at themselves. I tweeted out that Miggy had another awful game. He did. He was terrible last night again. But what I will say in Miggy's defence is he keeps getting shifted. His position keeps changing every single game. He cannot settle into his role, which we know is a number 10 role. He's not been allowed to express himself in the position we know he's best at. Jacob Murphy, I'd like to give a shout out to because, you know, we were poor last night, but on occasions, Jacob Murphy got the ball and actually wanted to have a go. He wanted to shoot. He forced a good save out of Ederson. He cut in on his left foot and curled it towards the bottom corner. Ederson made a good save. Yes, it was comfortable for him, but it was a good save. But at least Jacob Murphy gets the ball and wants to do something. It might not always work out for him. He might lose it a few occasions, but that's part of a winger. You know, you're a winger. You will try and take players on, and there will be occasions where you lose the ball. But there will also be occasions where you beat your man and you get decent crosses in or you get shots in. And that's what I like from Jacob Murphy. But again, he's not given the opportunity to express himself as a winger all the time. It's when we're 4 behind and we've got nothing to lose where we just try and get back in the game. But he's not allowed to do that from the off. His main focus is, right, Jacob, I am the manager. You are sitting in defence. Do not cross the halfway line. Do not try and attack anybody until we're late in the game. We try and sneak something. That's basically all he must be saying that to the players because there's nothing. He turns around about Joe Linton and 2 weeks ago and said Joe Linton cannot play up front on his own. So what does he go and do last night? He plays Joe Linton up front on his own. If that's the case, Steve, why not just start with Andy Carroll? You know, at least Andy Carroll will try and challenge for the ball. He'll try and bring it down. Joe Linton can't do that. You even admitted 2 weeks ago that he can't. So what do you go and do? You play him there? I mean, do you have... it's just nonsensical to me. Absolutely nonsensical. And this is how it's going to be for the majority of this season under this manager. We are atrocious. We are embarrassing. And people will tune into the game on Wednesday because they'll want to see Liverpool absolutely hammer us. Fans from all over the country will know what's coming. They'll think, oh, we want to see some goals scored. We'll watch Newcastle-Liverpool because there's going to be a hatful in there. And you can bet your bottom dollar there will be. Salah, Mane, Firmino, Jota. the list goes on. We haven't got the back four or back five to cope with them. And it doesn't scare Liverpool at all playing against a back five because they can just play around us and, But all I want to see is a bit of passion, a bit of effort. We don't get that. We're not even seeing that from any Newcastle player. Well, apart from a couple of them. Carl Darlow last night. You've got to feel sorry for the bloke. He has been nothing short of magnificent this season. Absolutely magnificent. And if there's one player in this country that deserves an England call-up, it's Carl Darlow. You talk about Jordan Pickford. I'm sorry, but Carl Darlow, I'd have him over Pickford any day of the week. Absolutely no question about it. And that's not me saying it as Pickford being a Mackham. That's me saying it as a football fan. Watching Carl Darlow week in, week out, seeing the mistakes that Pickford makes, there's not even a comparison. But because he plays for Newcastle United, he will never get a shout. Until we are one of the big boys, and then you watch. If a takeover happened and we became sort of a top 4-5 team, you watch how many internationals we suddenly have. But it's just the way things are at the minute, isn't it? It's just the way things are. So, we lose again. There's nothing good to say. There's nothing good about the way we play in football at the moment. It's drab, it's boring, it's abysmal. And I can't say any more than that. I'm disappointed again. We lost. There's no fight. There's no desire. We need to see something different on Wednesday, but we know we're not going to. But I'll be doing a review for that game probably tomorrow anyway. Like I say, if you've enjoyed the video, I'm sorry it's been another, negative video really, but what am I supposed to do? As a Newcastle fan who bleeds black and white and wears my heart on my sleeve when I do these videos, I'm not going to bullshit anybody in these videos. That's one thing I will never do. I will never bullshit anybody. I will talk how I see it and how it is. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Football is all about opinions. But for me, I can't see anything but negativity at the minute. There's not one bright spark about Newcastle United. So I'm not going to sit here and be all cheerful and chirpy and think, yeah, everything's rosy in the garden, because it's not. It's bollocks. It's utter shite. And that's how it is at the minute. So, please leave your comments down below, because I want to hear what everybody else thinks. I've had fantastic response to my videos lately. Loads of comments. I do reply to as many as I can. It's great to see so many people getting involved in the videos. So keep that going. I'd love to see your comments on what you think. What do you think you should do for Wednesday? Well, does it matter what we think? It's not going to change how he thinks anyway. But let us know. Do smash the like button. It means the world to us to build this channel, and likes do help, believe it or not. And if you're new to the video, if you're just first time watching, do hit the subscription button. Like I say, lots of football on this channel. I'll be doing a Premier League special probably tomorrow as well, looking back over this weekend's results and previewing the forthcoming week's Premier League fixtures as well. So there's that one to look forward to as well. Obviously the Liverpool preview, where we'll talk about how we're going to get spanked again. But that's just the way it is at the minute, isn't it? We just have to keep plodding on as Newcastle fans and just hope one day that there is some light at the end of the tunnel. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had a great Christmas. Try and chill out before Wednesday night, because we know we're going to get angry again. But until then, take care.
Be strong.